Appears to be a standard sequence violation. Branches growing at a stable rate and slope. Variant identified.
I beg your pardon?
On behalf of the Time Variance Authority, I hereby arrest you for crimes against the sacred timeline. Hands up. You're coming with us.
I'm sorry, who's us?
Last chance, Variant.
It's been a very long day, and I think I've had my fill of idiots in armored suits telling me what to do, so if you don't mind, this is actually your last chance. Now get out of my way.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. This is going to be my Loki spoiler-free review of episodes 1 and 2. And I gotta say, Marvel, with each new series that they release on Disney Plus, steps up their game. Wandavision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier were both great. I really liked both of them, but I love Loki. And there are many different reasons why I love this series so much, but today I'll just talk about 5. And by the way, that clip that you saw in the beginning of this video that Marvel released yesterday, I just thought everybody should know, this is pretty much the opening scene of the series. There's a tiny bit before it, but this is where it pretty much starts. So congrats, you've seen the first, let's say, 3 minutes. And as we know, we're going to be dealing with a new/old Loki, and that actually brings me to my first reason of why I love the show so much. We get a new Loki. And yes, it is still the same Loki that we know and love, but he is also different. And that's really nice because we thought in Avengers Infinity War, that was it for Loki. And it was for that Loki, but this one might have a different fate. And what I love about what they did with Loki is we are seeing a Loki that we've never seen before. While at the same time, he still has all of those characteristics and the traits that we love about him. But one thing you'll notice about Loki in episode 1 is that he is vulnerable. We are seeing him in a vulnerable state, one that we've never really seen before. And it's touching and sad and real. And it's honestly quite refreshing to see. We got a little bit of it in Thor: The Dark World when he was mourning over the loss of his mother. And we see him like that again, but they take it way further. So the first reason of why I loved it so much is that we get a whole new Loki while keeping all of the greatness that makes him, the god of mischief. The second reason I loved it so much is because it is actually really, really funny. There's a lot of comedy involved in the series. I mean, it's Loki. He's the god of mischief. He's a funny guy, especially coming off of Thor Ragnarok, which was a great film that had a lot of comedy to it. And I'm definitely going to talk about the actors in one of my reasons because they are all seriously fantastic. But the relationship that Loki and Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, have is amazing. And there's actually a lot of different aspects to their relationship, even though they are just meeting. Mobius knows who Loki is. He knows everything about Loki and probably knows even more about Loki than Loki knows about himself. And you see that come out. You see Mobius kind of test Loki to see how well he knows himself, and in that is some really great comedy. I've said it a few times in other videos, but the chemistry between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston is absolutely incredible, and it's just a blast to watch. But Tom Hiddleston also has some really great chemistry with Wunmi Masaku. She's who you saw at the beginning of this video in the Loki clip. She plays Hunter B-15, an agent of the TVA, and as you can see, her and Loki don't exactly get started off on the right foot. But they have a really great back and forth that offers a lot of comedic relief in some serious parts of the show. Now, the first episode is definitely a little bit more comedic driven than the second episode. The first episode is very much the setup of what is about to happen during the Loki series. During this time, Loki is meeting a lot of different characters and he's finding out who they are and who exactly the TVA is. And as we all know, Loki, he doesn't exactly follow rules very well, which of course always makes for great comedy. Now, the third reason of why I actually loved it so much is even though it has a lot of comedy to it, there's actually a lot of mystery to it. And not just from the main antagonist, but everything really. There are a lot of aspects to the Loki series that you would find in a crime show. And for the first episode, it kind of is a crime episode. And that develops more in the second episode as well. But the cool thing about Loki is that he's kind of an antagonist himself, right? He's not a hero. He was, or kind of is, a villain because this is the Loki who just tried to take over Earth. So you have Loki, who is a villain, and then you have another villain, which adds a very interesting dynamic that I actually really enjoyed. destroyed. But again, the mystery isn't just revolving around the antagonist. This is a whole new world and a whole new force, the TVA. We are now dealing with time travel and a sacred timeline, which they explain, and it's all very mysterious as to how everything is going to work. They do a great job of explaining who the TVA is, why the TVA was formed, how it was formed in the very first episode. And they explain it very well because, let's face it, time travel sometimes is very hard to get a grasp on, but it's executed well. However, there is still a lot of mystery as to what exactly this time travel that we're going to see in the show is going to affect. If you caught a few of my videos in the past where I talked about the TVA, you know that the TVA's job is to basically monitor different timelines. In the comics, their job was making sure that one timeline did not affect another. If one timeline started to affect another, they would go and they would fix the problem, and sometimes even eliminate a certain timeline. So that's the force that we're dealing with here. They've been around in the MCU for essentially forever. But now they have Loki in their headquarters and he's a loose cannon. And of course Loki is trying to get them to trust him, but can you ever really trust Loki? The guy who stabs his own brother. And again, it isn't the mature Loki, it's the Loki who just tried to take over Earth and lost. But the show really does make you wonder what exactly is going to happen in the show and how is it going to affect the rest of the MCU? Because keep in mind, the head writer Michael Waldron is also writing, or I should say he already wrote, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with Sam Raimi. So you have one show that he wrote, Loki, that has to do with different timelines and time travel, and then another one that he wrote that has to do with the multiverse. So to me, the big mystery is what exactly is going to happen and how is it going to blow up and send the multiverse into madness. Now, my fourth reason, as you might have picked up on already, is although it is a very comedic show, it really does have some very grounded, serious parts to it. And I think that's very important because it's very easy to make something just laugh, and not have a very solid foundation or be very grounded. But they did an excellent job at combining the comedy with the mystery, with the seriousness, and with a lot of emotion, which is something that you might not really expect from Loki. And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. And last but not least, I really have to praise the actors on this one. And it's not just them doing a good job on their own, it's how they do a good job with each other. I've already mentioned Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson absolutely crush it. Tom Hiddleston and Wunmi Masaku actually crush it as well, like I mentioned before. But then you have Owen Wilson crushing it with Gugu Mbatha Raw's character, who plays Judge Renslayer. And I'm curious to what people think, but I personally think, and this is not a very obvious thing, but I think that there could be a little bit of a romance there. It's not obvious or in your face. I may be picking up on something that's not there, but you'll all have to let me know what you think after the first episode comes out. But really, the whole cast just absolutely crushed it. They killed it with each other and on their own. And even some of the actors who aren't main actors do an incredibly good job. Overall, I definitely say it's Marvel's best Disney Plus show so far. And as a project on its own for Marvel, it is one of the better ones. I've only seen 2 episodes, so I can't make a final judgment call on where I would rank it, but if it keeps at this pace or gets any better than this, it's going to be pretty high up on my list. And it comes out in only a few hours. I'll be doing my live watch party for the show like I've been doing for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Wandavision. It'll start tonight at 11:30 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, we'll be talking about the show afterwards. And I hope everybody likes it. I hope to see everybody tomorrow during the live stream. Leave your final thoughts about Loki in the comments down below and let me know how excited you are. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.